All right, ladies and gentlemen, I found real footage of the fire that was out in Joliet. It was a factory. Let's check it out. Channel 9, WGN.
Yet. The facility was destroyed and a firefighter injured when the roof collapsed.
WGN's Sean Lewis is live for us near Joliet now with the latest. Sean?
Ben and Dina, this fire began about 12 hours ago, and if you would have asked me just 30 minutes ago if the fire was out, I would have told you yes. But in the last couple of minutes, we just had the fire department coming by here because of what you see in the back there. You see that black smoke. It just restarted within the last 10 minutes or so here at this factory. It is all but gone right now. Those hot spots still rekindling, though, for this fire that began in the early morning hours, just about 4 o'clock this morning. Tonight, a pile of twisted metal is what remains of what was the Ravanco pipe plant. Just off I-55 in unincorporated Shorewood near Joliet. Thick black smoke permeated the air just before sunrise as crews from 30 different departments responded to this, their efforts hampered by a lack of fire hydrants in the area. It led to a third alarm being called. More than a dozen trucks had to haul in water.
The fire obviously had a good head start on us. And in that type of construction where it's all open inside with just wooden beams and insulation, there's no protection from the fire spreading.
One firefighter was injured on his face and wrist when a team went in to help save important documents in the office area.
Unbeknownst to them, the fire had already traveled over their heads in the ceiling area. When they pulled the check, the whole ceiling fell on them. And that's how he got burned.
He is now stable at Loyola Medical Center in Maywood. Ravanco manufactured diesel exhaust fluid piping systems here. Fire officials say the plant had just added a $40 million expansion, and it was employees arriving to work at 4 o'clock this morning who saw the smoke and called 911.
It was really shocking.
Those who live not far from this plant jumped out of bed just before 4:30 as that fire spread.
There was like an initial explosion.
Another explosion 5 seconds later. Well, I know it was an explosion now, but I just thought it was a boom. And then like 6, maybe to a dozen more explosions. And I heard my roommate call out. He's like, guys, there's a fire. Out of bed. Boom, window open. That blaze right outside the window, very, very scary.
The smoke was carried away from populated areas and the interstate by east winds, which also helped keep flames from spreading to the other buildings nearby to the north and south. Officials say they were not worried about a hazmat issue.
Smoke wasn't on us. Smoke didn't come this way at all. It was completely across the field.
Those who watched from outside their homes, despite the damage here, are glad this was not worse.
I don't know. It's just all happening so fast. You just don't wake up with a fire happening outside your window every day.
So again, we had that smoke again. The fire restarted at the very back of where this building was. The fire crews arriving about 5 minutes ago or so. It looks like they are trying to contain that. Now, just to the north here, you can see just beyond that tree there is an excavator that arrived about an hour ago. They're going to have to get through all of this and make sure that all of that rubble is contained and stable for the investigators to actually get in there eventually, probably either tonight or tomorrow, to try to figure out what exactly sparked this fire early this morning. That's the latest here live in unincorporated Shorewood. Sean Lewis, WGN News.
I was getting tired and I thought something's
The 911 call came in around 4:02 this morning. That's when 2 employees with Ravanco Piping arrived. work this morning and saw smoke coming from a manufacturing area. 2 firefighting crews arrived on scene. One of those crews tackled that smoke, that fire coming from that manufacturing space. The other went to the office area to help try to protect that area, but that resulted in a firefighter injury.
They went inside with a hand line to make a stop at that building to try to save the office area. Unbeknownst to them, the fire had already traveled over their heads in the ceiling area. When they pulled to check, the whole ceiling fell on them.
Troy Fire Protection District Chief Paul Hertzman says that injured firefighter from an assisting department's in stable condition and was taken to St. Joe's, then transported to Loyola's burn unit after suffering burns to the wrist and forehead. The chief says the fire at Ravinico on Southeast Frontage Road at I-55 and the Route 59 interchange had a good head start with perfect open conditions inside the pole barn structures where the manufacturing equipment was kept. That and a lack of water hydrants nearby made the blaze take off rapidly. 15 water tender trucks arrived to assist from other departments. What did help this morning was the wind. The chief says it was blowing to the east, where homes are at least a mile away, instead of to the west and directly over drivers on I-55. Many residents reported hearing explosions this morning. The chief says there were at least 4 that he heard, most likely chemical related, but doesn't believe there are any air quality issues. The building, a total loss, expected to be a $25 to $30 million hit for the company. The fire at the insulated pipe manufacturer was under control in less than 5 hours.
The building, when it burned, the roof fell in, the walls fell in. So we're going to have to get in there and pull that apart. But like I said, until the State Fire Marshal's Office and our MAVIS investigators are done documenting the scene the way it stands, we don't want to start tearing stuff apart. But it will have to be moved and hotspots will be put out.
And once those hotspots are out, investigators with the State Fire Marshal's Office will be able to take a closer look to try to figure out what started this very early morning Monday fire. So don't be alarmed if you're on I-55 today and you see a little smoke coming from the area. In unincorporated Joliet, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
Left behind. Lauren?
Hi there, Joe and Erica. Well, you might hear some car noise right now. That's because in front of me is Interstate 55. Behind me, you can sort of see an arm of an excavator. Right now, it's digging around debris, sifting through lots of soot and who knows what else to investigate what caught fire here. I'm told what caused this mess could take days. Eyewitness video of a 3-alarm fire shows the moment that a boom sends a homeowner scurrying.
This is my backyard right here.
Next door, Tony Nakis started broadcasting on Facebook Live after realizing the noise wasn't a storm.
It was a loud crash. It was like, well, that's some good thunder. Didn't think nothing of it. Rolled back over, went to sleep. And maybe 15, 20 minutes later, heard a really loud boom. I hope they're getting it under control.
The explosions were coming from down the street at Rovanco Piping Systems. Apparently, 2 employees called for help after running into smoke when they arrived for work. The family business of more than 50 years manufactures all sorts of pipes and piping products.
And I'm like, oh my God, the whole freaking building was on fire. The flames were just shooting into the sky.
More than 24 fire departments responded to the scene off Frontage Road, which borders I-55.
This fire escalated to a 3rd alarm due to this being a non-hydrated area, which meant we had to bring in all the water to fight the fire.
A Joliet fire captain had a scare while inside.
Unbeknownst to them, the fire had already traveled over their heads in the ceiling area. When they pulled to check, the whole ceiling fell on them.
He burned his wrist and forehead, but is expected to be okay. That's a relief to Nakis.
If nobody loses their life, buildings can be replaced.
It won't be cheap. Here's a Google image of the same building from June 2023. The estimated cost of damage here, $25 to $30 million. You can see it's quite windy out here today. Firefighters are thankful it's kind of blowing that way because, like I said, in front of us is the interstate, and that way is where there are a bunch of homes. The fire did not wind up spreading. Reporting live in unincorporated Joliet, I'm Lauren Victory, CBS News, Chicago.
Simplify your fleet, tackle more jobs, and get it all done with one machine that's as dependable. The Miller XMT4.
All right, we hope everybody is okay out there in the surrounding areas of Joliet. Be safe driving on old I-55, right? Old 55, I remember that highway. God bless everybody. It's going to be a beautiful day today. We do have clouds. We got threats of storms coming in. So be safe. God bless. It's a hot one. Put your air conditioners on to cool your house down before the storm tonight. I got some things to do. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.